Well, the email address is yourmoney@cnnfn.com. We'll get to those a little later as well. But first, even if your home-based business is just you sitting in your underwear in the basement trying to get business over the phone, let's just rephrase that. You have to put together a supporting cast to assist you. Len Green joins us with some tips on how to do so. He's a professor of entrepreneurship at Babson College. He's also an accountant and a business owner. Len, good to see you.
Good to see you, Ali. Nice to be here.
You know, jokes aside about what you wear, my father has always maintained that whether your business is at home or elsewhere, dress like you're doing business.
Dress like you're a professional.
Yeah.
It kind of gives a whole feeling about the whole thing, yeah.
And thematically, that's your whole point here. It's not just dress like you're a professional. Set up everything. Doesn't matter how small your business is, your entire setup has to be mini professional.
Mini professional, and surround yourself with the same kind of people, okay, that a large business would. Even though you haven't got a paid advisory board of directors, have people that you can call upon to give you some ideas so you don't hit the landmines.
So what do? You don't call people and say, I'd like you to be on my free board of directors and be available for all of my whims?
Started, okay, I took my Rolodex, which turned out to be a computer run, okay, and started calling people up and said, hey, I have an idea for starting something different. Okay, what do you think about it? Okay, and if I have some problems along the way, can I call upon you? And I found they were very, very eager to do that. And as I kept on growing, I kept on exchanging and building up on the Rolodex until I was doing something for them, they were doing something for me.
What you want to do is when you are consulting people for advice, you'd like to have somebody involved there who actually has some entrepreneurship under their belt, because what tends to happen with a lot of people who phone us with respect to small businesses or entrepreneurship is that they've got these fantastic ideas but no practical experience behind them to tell them that this won't work or this will work.
That's what this kind of system really does. Really, really works. And it also gives you a roadmap, okay? You say, hey, I'm going to do some kind of plan. Let's gauge it at something. And when you did this, Ali, did you run into a problem with it? When you had taxes, did you have this? You have to pay taxes. What do you do to save some money on it? Okay, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that's the key of the thing. Try not to make that mistake. Try not to hit that landmine. You
talk about taxes. One of the things that's kind of important is that you understand your legal and your taxation liability. You don't need to be having a major financial team, but you do need to have a lawyer and accountant look over your stuff and say this is the best way to structure it.
Well, that, and try to remember in the back of your mind, limited liability company, because that's the new game in town. That's better than a sole proprietor. It's better than a partnership. It's better than a subchapter S. It gives you all the protection of the corporation, but it gives you the flexibility of less taxes. So again, you don't want the government to be your partner. And this is the legal way to do it.
Let's talk about technology. One of the things about small office, home office operators is you've lost the benefit of an IT department. You've lost the benefit of the water cooler where you even know what the latest is on stuff like that. How do you make up for that?
I make up for it by suggesting that they look big even if they're not. They can do most of their work in their underwear in the office, okay, in their own home office.
But look like you're...
look like it. On the other hand, if they're meeting with clients, find some way that you can rent some space but only pay for it when you actually use it, okay? Try to set up a web page. I mean, it's amazing. When we first started, that there were people in high school and college who were willing to come in and do your web page for nothing and make it interactive, etc. Look like it. And to me, the most important thing is don't try to have one of those answering services that just buzzes. Have somebody professionally answer.
You think there should be a real person answering the phone? What if you can't afford to hire a real person? What do you...
You again...
You get one of these services?
Sure, you get the service, okay? But people who call you, Ali, want to be able to leave a message, want to feel like they're talking to somebody,
right.
And you want to give the impression, you know what, I got more than one person working here.
And conversely, you have to be able to return those calls very quickly, calls and emails.
Oh, that's got to be the key of the whole thing. It's that return. Yeah. You can say it, I'm the smartest person in the world, but if you don't return your call, Ali, I make you think you're not important.
Yeah. Let's talk about a web presence. They can be very expensive.
But they can be very inexpensive also. What we did was we went down to a high school and college, okay, got the people to do it in return for services that we presented and keep on upgrading them all the time. The key is that people get the whole idea of what you're trying to do, whether you're a product or a service. If they can get that impression, they then can decide whether you can do it or not.
Let's talk about establishing your brand, whether it's on your logo, your design, your envelopes, how you market yourself. Again, you can blow the entire budget before getting any income on this sort of thing. How do you achieve that balance?
It's kind of funny. We had at school the other day the people who started SoBe. They started at South Beach. South Beach they thought had a lot of appeal because it was Florida, et cetera, kind of thing. But when they suddenly got to SoBe and put the lizards in, then suddenly they had themselves something that people remembered. So you got to have an idea of what you're trying to get across, whether it's a product or service, and then find some way to sit down and say, I got to put that name and thing in something that makes people remember who I am.
Len, great start to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure, sir.
Len Green is a professor of entrepreneurship at Babson College in Massachusetts. He has joined us today to get us kicked off well on this issue of running a home-based business. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have a look at some savings plans for single-person businesses. Could they be right for you? You still have to think about your retirement. We'll find out when your money returns. Stay with us.